Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Good evening. You are watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. The tropical storm in the Arabian Sea downgrades to depression. And 13 new geometrical dump areas will be built in various governorates of the Sultanate by next year. Those were the headlines. We would also like to inform our Urdu-speaking audience that we will have a report in Urdu language on the expected deep tropical depression. Now for the news in detail. The latest weather maps and satellite images indicated that the tropical storm Nanook downgraded to depression. The wind speed around the center is estimated between 28 and 33 knots. It is currently centered at latitude 19 degrees north and longitude 63 degrees east. The center of the depression is currently about 470 kilometers away from Masira Island. The latest prediction pointed out that the depression continues to center near the Sultanate's coast during the next 48 hours with chances of low and medium height clouds, accompanied by various intensity rains on the governorates of South Sharqiya, Wusta North Sharqiya, and parts of the governorate of Muscat and Hajar Mountains. Seas will continue to be rough along with the coast overlooking the Arabian Sea, with a maximum wave height of 5 meters. To follow up on the weather condition, here with us live from the Director General of Meteorology and Air Navigation, Mr. Khalid bin Khamis Al-Jahwari. Mr. Khalid, welcome to our news. Mr. Khalid? We've lost the call. We'll continue. Within the context of preparations taken by Muscat municipality to resist citizens and residents' complaints and reports, a meeting was held in the call center of the municipality. It has taken a procedural plan to deal with remarks that conveyed to the center, which in turn delivers them to specialists in electronic means in the center as fast as possible. It also called on more employees to work along the day so as to deal with any emergency situation of the tropical storm in the wilayas of the governorate. Authorities concerned in the Sultanate completed its preparations and all the precautions are taken for the tropical weather condition before reaching the coast of the Sultanate during the next few days. Civil defense branches held in the governorates their meetings with the participation of all competent authorities. They all reinforced their capabilities and sources for the organized, instant, and efficient response to deal with the weather situation. Search and Rescue Sector held a coordination meeting with its bodies during which they determined all options to be provided for the mission. Medical response and general health sector announced its readiness in dealing with the weather condition, as hospitals and health facilities will work around the clock and provide field treatment services. Aid and relief sector declared its completion of providing relief items in all the governorates, especially in the governorates of Sharqiya and Wusta, where shelter centers are fully prepared. Basic service sector announced the readiness of its technical teams to deal with any disruption in electricity and telecommunication facilities, as well as providing portable water for the places expected to be affected by the weather condition. The Ministry of Commerce and Industry and Public Authority for Stores and Food Reserve announced the availability of foodstuff and fuel in satisfactory levels. The Ministry of General Municipalities and Water Resources, as well as Muscat, Dhofar, and Sohar municipalities, announced that all precautions are taken to guarantee the overflow of wadis. The Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries Wealth urged fishermen not to venture out to the sea during the next few days. To follow up on the weather condition, we have with us back live from the Director General of Meteorology and Air Navigation, Mr. Khalid bin Khamis Al-Jahwari. Mr. Khalid, welcome to our news.
Good evening to you and good evening to all viewers.
Good evening. Thank you for being with us today. We understand that tropical storm now has changed to air depression. Could you please explain what that means?
Yes, tropical systems are classified according to wind speeds around the center. A depression, a deep depression a tropical system is classified as a deep depression if the surface wind speed is between 28 to 33 knots. If the wind speed reaches 34 knots, the tropical system is considered to be a tropical storm and it's given a name. And if the wind speed around the center reaches 64 knots and upward, the tropical system is considered to be a tropical cyclone or a hurricane. This morning, the tropical storm Nanok has weakened into a deep depression because weather conditions were not favorable along Omani coast for further intensification. Right now, according to the latest satellite images, this deep depression has weakened further into low pressure. And according to latest numerical weather prediction charts, it's expected to dissipate over the sea in the next 24 hours. There are still chances for isolated rains over Al-Wusta and Al-Sharqiyya governorates. There are also chances for local rains over Al-Hajar mountains. But overall, there is nothing, everything seems to be fine, nothing to worry about.
We also understand that it has taken a new track proceeding to the northeast. Could you please explain what that means?
Yes, according to latest satellite images, it has moved northward into a northern track. But like I said, atmospheric conditions are not favorable for further intensification. Therefore, this low pressure is expected to dissipate over the sea in the next 24 hours. Like I said, there will be chances for isolated rains over Al-Sharqiyya, Al-Wusta regions in the next 48 hours. Also some chances for local rains over Al-Hajar mountains, but overall there is nothing to worry about. Sea is expected to be will remain rough along the coastal areas of the Arabian Sea, but other than that, some chances for rains, like I said, but other than that, everything seems to be fine.
Thank you very much, Khalid, Mr. Khalid, for being with us. That was Mr. Khalid bin Khamis Al-Jahwari from the Director General of Meteorology and Air Navigation. The Economic Zone in Duqm has set up a comprehensive plan in cooperation with the National Committee for National Defense to handle the coming weather condition. Engineer Yahya bin Khamis Al-Zajjali, Deputy Chief Executive of Planning and Engineering, stressed that they are ready to deal with any climate change that might affect negatively the private economic zone. They cooperated with the Public Authority of Air Navigation and Meteorology to provide them with immediate data as well as with the civil defense. They also made a tour to check the process of work in the zone's projects and prepared special teams to protect facilities of the dry dock project and for the safety of the employees and other teams in Duqm Port Company to protect commercial wharf, and some of those wharfs have been evacuated to reduce harm. Still to come in our news bulletin. The southern city of Chennai is known as India's healthcare capital and a hub for medical tourism. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. The Oman Environmental Services Holding Company clarified that 13 new geometrical dump areas will be built in various governorates of the Sultanate. It also stressed that all traditional dump areas will be closed by 2015. The company organized a visit for media delegations to the new dump areas, which are being implemented in the wilayas of Bidbid and Barka. The visit aimed to shed light on companies' projects in this field, introduce strategies regarding waste management in the Sultanate, as well as to limit environmental and health problems caused by traditional dump areas. According to the company, the new dump areas are designed according to international engineering and environmental specifications suitable for each governorate, in addition to establishment of administrative buildings equipped with the latest technology and environmental monitoring system. Discussing investment opportunities in road transport was within aspects of the investment seminar that was organized by the Omani Association of Road Transport in cooperation with Oman Chamber of Commerce and Industry in the government of Dhahira. The seminar revealed that more than 300 trucks owned by immigrant laborers enter lands of the Sultanate, and that affects negatively on developing road transport sector, seeking to give Omani youth the opportunity to work in this field. This sector is considered one of the most important elements of national economy for the insurance it provides in transport movement and handling of goods among industrial zones and ports in the different governorates of the Sultanate and neighboring Arab countries. People in the flashpoint eastern Ukrainian city of Slavyansk are struggling without the basic necessities. The following report shows how they survive.
Every day, dozens of desperate people queue up here for a few bottles of drinking water. This is Slavyansk in eastern Ukraine, for months the scene of fierce fighting between pro-Russian rebels and government troops. And with no running water, even the stagnant fountain in the central Lenin Square has become a source.
Water life. They strike every day. That's life here. They start in the afternoon. The windows are blown in, and they do horrible things.
No water, no electricity, no telephone. The only restaurant still open in the city of 110,000 people serves only salad and meat cooked on a gas stove. Many residents have already left, but others have no place to go and just have to survive.
It's good that there's a river close by. You can go and bathe and wash there. Other residents don't have that chance. They stay as they are.
Some people's homes have been destroyed in the shelling.
There was an explosion there, and another there, and yet another there. A gas pipe exploded and started to burn every floor. We called the firemen. They put the fire out and left.
Nearby, another apartment has been badly damaged. Natasha had invested all her savings in her home. Her pension hasn't been paid for several months. Today, she has nothing.
Life here is very hard. Very hard. Every day there is shooting. I can't stand it. My apartment was so good. We'd just done work on it. The bombs fell and everything exploded.
The people here believe they have been forgotten by the government in Kiev, by the pro-Russian separatists who control the city, and by the NGOs who are failing to reach Slavyansk to deliver the help that's so desperately needed.
In Chennai, India's healthcare capital, medical workers describe a reverse brain drain, with its doctors returning from work in the West as the city develops a top-budget destination for medical tourists. Here's the report.
Removing the prostate gland to get rid of cancer. Uro-oncologist Dr. Raghavan learnt and honed his technique in Germany and the UK. He came back to India last year after more than a decade in the West, bringing the latest medical technology with him.
The medical advances between the West and India used to be about a 15-year gap when I was last here in 1999. Compared to now, the gap is about a year or so.
This southern city of Chennai is known as India's healthcare capital and a hub for medical tourism. But many of its medicine graduates have traditionally emigrated to boost their earnings and expertise. Healthcare workers say the brain drain has started to reverse, with Indians such as Dr. Anto, who moved to New Zealand 4 years ago, choosing to come home.
First is the promise of a better quality of life here. So on the whole, we have seen the economy go up. It's tending towards a better education, better lifestyle. So that's something that brings back people for one. Second is like there is a small thing in the back of your mind where you feel that you can make probably a better difference or greater difference back here.
Much work still needs to be done on Indian healthcare. Public facilities are underfunded and poorly governed, while millions of citizens cannot afford private treatment. Meanwhile, some hospitals are seeing rapid growth in international patients. Around 70,000 visit this Apollo hospital annually for far cheaper treatment than at home. This Kenyan man came with his son for a double knee replacement.
The expertise that is also here, we do not have that kind of expertise back at home. So that's the reason why we felt it's important maybe to have the surgery here than back at home.
India's healthcare star appears to be rising brightly on the global stage, and many are hoping that the benefits will soon trickle down to help all Indians.
Now for a report in the Urdu language about the tropical storm expected to land in the Sultanate. Further details with Saida Nayeb.
ताज़ा तरीन मौसमी इतलात के मुताबिक समंदरी तूफान नानूक अब तूफान की बजाय एक डिप्रेशन की शक्ल इख्तियार कर चुका है। तूफान का मरकज इस वक्त मसीरा से 470 किलोमीटर दूर है। अगले 48 घंटों में निचले और दरमियाने दर्जे के बादलों और बारिशों का इम्कान है शर्किया के जुनूबी और शुमाली खत्ते में, हिजार के पहाड़ों और मस्कत के मुख्तलिफ इलाकों में। मुतल्लिका हुक्काम और इदारों ने अपनी तमाम तर तैयारियां मुकम्मल कर ली हैं तूफान के अगले चंद दिनों में सल्तनत के साहिल तक पहुंचने से पहले, जिसमें शहरी दिफा, इमदाद और रिलीफ के शोबे, तिब्बी शोबे और पानी के वसाइल शामिल हैं। मस्कत म्युनिसिपैलिटी ने ज्यादा मुलाजिमीन को दिन भर काम के लिए हुक्म दे दिया है किसी भी हंगामी सूरत हाल से निमटने के लिए। ये तमाम खिदमात मस्कत के तमाम बाशिंदों के लिए 24 घंटे दस्तयाब हैं।
Now for the general weather forecast. Partly cloudy skies will prevail over the governorates of South and North Sharqiya and Al-Wasta, with chances of scattered rainfalls, and clear to partly cloudy skies over the rest of the governorates, with chances of accumulative clouds and scattered rains over parts of the Hajan Mountains in the afternoon. Winds will be southeasterly moderate to active along to southeasterly coast, while it will be easterly to southeasterly light to moderate along the rest of the Sultanate. Seas along the southeastern coast will be rough with a maximum wave height of 5 meters. Rest of the Sultanate's coast, it will be moderate to rough with a maximum wave height of 2 meters. This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. The tropical storm in the Arabian Sea downgrades to depression. And 13 new geometrical dump areas will be built in various governorates of the Sultanate by next year. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at the newsroom and the studios, it's good night.